Disclaimer: the following program features language not suitable for all audiences, and the expressed opinions found within this program are a reflection of those who feature on the PopCulture Effect podcast. Welcome to the PopCulture Effect. I'm Rockin Rob, and on this show, I bring my closest friends together to talk about all the news happening in our pop culture world around us.
Heyo, I'm Subset. I'm here with two of my greatest friends, Rob Lobster.
I am here and not dead.
And Menace.
Hello.
And today we have a lot to talk about. Not a lot, but a lot of interesting things to talk about. I'm sure other people have covered it before us, but time, scheduling, all that.
Now, this week, I'm extremely excited to be returning to this series, as I'll be discussing the 5th episode of the Amazing Digital Circus. Now, this was a really interesting episode, as a lot of the promotion leading up to this episode was just a lot of clips on YouTube showing a lot of different adventures, so it was really curious as to which one they would commit to for this episode. But it seems Kane wants to do a lightning round as we get a return of the suggestion box, and we pretty much get to see what all of the characters would like to do on their adventures. Now, at least for me, I really appreciated this episode because it was a lot more calming, and we got a lot more character-driven writing rather than the adventure-based set pieces. And there was a lot to enjoy in this episode, from some really great character connection between Pomni and Ragatha, and especially Pomni and Jax. And this was just a great way to get some grounded conversation, because all these characters have been jumping around from adventure to adventure that they never really had any time to sit at a bar and talk or watch the stars go by. I'm really interested to seeing where this goes, especially when it comes to Jax, as I feel like there is a lot to dig into when it comes to his character, especially between him and Ragatha, as I feel like there's going to be a big reveal that'll happen later on that is going to honestly just break my heart. Now, to get into some of the details of this episode, Kane really is struggling with the concept of them enjoying their own ideas more than his ideas, and I'm sure that'll culminate later on in the series with him questioning his own reason for being, if they are totally content being on their own and doing their own thing. Now, I will say the baseball scene was pretty fun. I'm just upset that Gangle didn't get an evil version, but Evil Pomni and Evil Jax were honestly my favorites. I loved the crassness of Evil Pomni, but I loved the genuine sweetness of Evil Jax, and I'm just really surprised that none of the main cast were like, hey, can we switch Jax? Can we, have the good Jax, or the evil Jax? But aside from that, the other thing we got in this episode is some backstory. And I love lore. And we got to hear what each character did with their lives before they were brought on to whatever company created the Amazing Digital Circus. Gangle was more of an artist. Zubul was more of a bartender / tattoo artist, and Pomni, surprisingly enough, worked at a grocery store, which I found incredibly relatable. But there was one detail that Pomni brought up that I thought was really thought-provoking, and that is the fact that she had this YouTube hobby where she would film herself going into abandoned buildings, which means I don't think Pomni was an employee of the company. I'm pretty sure that Pomni invaded an abandoned building, found a dusted-up VR headset, put it on, and got sucked into the world. I don't think she's connected to the Amazing Digital Circus at all. But I will say the one theory I will have for this episode is I believe the ending of this series is going to be Pomni finding a way through her glitch, which was not referenced a single time in this episode, that she's able to find a way to unabstract all of the characters. Because we know how full the basement is, and I'm sure there are plenty of characters that had connections with Ragatha, Jax, and all the others through the time, especially Kinger's wife, so I'd love to see that kind of happy ending. However, I know a large portion of the fanbase just want to see them escape, but again, I don't think that's what this is about. I don't think this is about escape. I think this is just about them finding peace as a family in a world they find themselves in. But I will say, to touch on the animation, it was beautiful and expressive as always, and I honestly wouldn't be too upset if we got a couple more of these episodes where it's just a chill vibe, where they're just hanging out, talking, having character growth, and just getting to know one another. It was honestly really touching and really relaxing to be able to just enjoy these characters rather than the adventures they find themselves surrounded by. But that's pretty much everything I have to discuss when it comes to the 5th episode of the Amazing Digital Circus. Funnily enough, this will be the first episode to air on the PCE Shorts channel, so by all means go and check out the older episodes where I go over all the other episodes and where we as a group go over the pilot episode. But my hats go off to Glitch and Gooseworks, as this has been a lovely series and I really hope we get more of it. But as I've said in previous episodes, at least for now, they know where the ending is, so I'm sure they kind of had the story plotted out. I just hope we still have episodes to come, because I worry that once we get to double digits, we'll be closer to the end than we'd like to be. But yeah, at this point, I think it's time for me to send it back to me and my friends as we discuss Invincible Versus.
Today, the first story is about something I didn't really expect to happen so soon. A Invincible video game. A fighter video game. Just like, what was that Dragon Ball one again?
Fighter Z?
Fighter Z, thank you. It's similar to Fighter Z, how it's been structured. They have about 24 characters on their roster, and from the gameplay that I was able to see, it looks fast-paced, very cinematic, as you expect in these kind of fighters, and it adds pretty good enough charm to each character that you're using. I haven't seen them all in action, but I've seen enough. And they're definitely giving each character their own personality in terms of combat. But I'm just a little surprised they came out with this kind of game for Invincible. It makes sense given the premise of the show and the comics. Literally villains, heroes, or other superhuman or alien species fighting each other.
See, I was always expecting them to have like an adventure style, like open world game.
Yeah, like similar to how Dragon Ball done their games where they're just flying around doing shit. I was expecting something adventurous or maybe even a linear story game, which I can understand why they didn't went through that, because that's a lot of time and money. And this is just
this is a good palate cleanser for everybody to make sure everybody's even interested in an Invincible game.
Right, and so far the reception of it has been pretty good, especially with all the new, I think a few more new things has came out recently. I haven't checked all my sources yet.
I do want to say I love the art style that they chose, because it feels like, I don't know what kind of effect it has on an overlay on all the character models, but it just feels like all of them pop.
The cel-shaded look.
Yeah.
Granted, it's still in development. Maybe the style may improve. They may go to a different aesthetic-wise. Time will tell. I'm just honestly just surprised we're getting this so early. I know the show has been out for like, a couple years now. The comic's been running for a good while. It's no brainer that we got some form of medium into like this. To a video game, maybe a short story.
Especially after Omni-Man featured in Mortal Kombat, like it just felt... And to go with that, I feel like this game has a lot of influence from Mortal Kombat.
Maybe some aspects. Definitely seeing a lot more focusing on, Fighter Z and whatnot on that regard.
Because it is a 3v3 fighter, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so. I think it's just a 1v1 fighter. Oh, no, you're right. It is 3v3.
I wanted to check because I know sometimes I can be bullshit. But speaking of it being a team-based fighter, I want to know what kind of characters have they already kind of like shown off?
Well, obviously, the main man himself.
Omni-Man. I'm kidding, Mark.
I
I was thinking about doing some kind of meme with that, but yeah, dude, oh man, I want all the characters in this game. I'm sorry.
You want all the characters in this?
I want to fight as Robot in the Jar.
No, okay, let's not go that far. But we're gonna get the Mauler twins in this. But again, like
the Mauler twins.
But again,
the Lizard League have to all be one character.
The Lizard League.
No, but as of right now, what characters have they officially like shown off?
I don't think they have released the whole roster, which it's not typical sometimes, especially seeing that this is connecting to a show that isn't really have any medium in video games. I'm pretty sure they're saving a few until the game fully releases, but obviously you can name a few like Mark, I forgot her name.
Eve.
Eve. Bulletproof is one was in some
Rex is
some
gonna be pretty
gameplay.
fun. Rex.
I don't know her
Showed a
name
lot
from the show, but
for some reason.
I'm gonna call her Azula because she's voice actor. Her voice actress is Azula from Avatar. She's in there. She's a Viltrumine with a dagger in her braid.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the old chick. Yeah.
Omni-Man, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be in there. I hope Alan's in here. I really do hope
Right?
Alan's in here.
Alan would be great. That big brain guy who took Mark across the multiverse, that'd be cool.
Angstrom.
Levi. Levi, Levy, however they pronounce it in the animated show.
Oh, okay. So I was able to find a bit of a, I hope this is credible.
Is it like
Some of it
official
looks
or is it
weird.
leaks?
I can't tell right now.
Alright, warning, this could be leaks and not real.
I mean, warning, this could be leaks
But
because
could also
there's
be
still
real.
not a lot out. People are still putting out their probably ideas, their own little headcanons, what you're gonna see and whatnot. So for now, I can't really rely on most shit that's out currently. So for now, we're just gonna go on headcanons who is the game, or from what we saw and from gameplay that we already know that's gonna be in it. Up in the rumor, they did say Red Rush is gonna be part of the roster, maybe Rex. Hell, you may even get Omni-Man Jr. in this bitch.
Seeing Oliver would be
needs
cool.
a better name.
No, okay, yes, but if I wanted to have one pick, I'm having Battle Beast in this bitch. He's gonna tear ass.
No shit. I'm pretty sure Battle Beast was one of the first picks they won in this goddamn game.
God, it'd be so good.
But personally, I want Power Flex.
This is such
Flex?
a
Powerplex.
Powerplex. would be a really
No, he's
great
Flex, dude. Because he's flexing his speech.
shout. Okay.
Like a Fallout video
His
game.
ultimate is just his speech.
You're not listening.
You're not.
What is it about me?
Oh man.
And each time he says the title card, that's what does damage. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Just the title card does damage.
Oh, I know. That's
The title
Mark's
card just
ult.
comes down.
Bing, 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 bing. Bing, 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 bing.
No, that's Mark's outro. Is you should have known. I'm.
Whoa, wait, hold up. Are we
Oh
gonna
my
get
God.
joke characters like Cecil though?
Cecil would not be a joke character. He'd be a teleporty little.
I mean, you're not
shoot,
wrong.
alien weapon, smack, using
Send
that
Donald
weird
out as a minion. Nah,
Robot,
Donald
I'm sure he's
needs
gonna
to be
in
a
here.
character.
Donald would
needs
be
to
great.
be-
I do
Yes,
respect
I'm gonna
Donald.
beat
And his special ability is he has 2 lives. He comes back in his robot form.
Now here's the question: Monster Girl would be cool. I would love to see how her transformation, she'd be an install character. But my main question is: would they have Multipole and Duplicate be separate characters, or the same character but different skin?
Probably different. Probably an alternate version, but same character.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on if they're doing mirror characters or not, though.
I just thought about this. If they actually wanted to be fully comic accurate and they got the licensing out of the way, they could technically have Batman and Spider-Man in this game as well, which would be cool.
Nah, I'm just waiting for that Fortnite collab. You know what I mean?
It's Spider Dude. What do you mean?
Spider Dude. No. Okay, I made mention of this before.
That's his name.
love.
That's his name. If you look at the subtitles in that episode, he's called Spider Dude.
I just love how he's voiced by the guy who voiced Yuri Lowenthal, the guy who voiced Spectacular Spider-Man. It's the same guy.
Good fun fact.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna keep mentioning that. I don't give a shit. It's great. No, but what are some off-the-wall picks you guys want for this game?
Off the wall picks.
Shit you wouldn't expect them to put in.
If they're going to have a story mode for it, I want there to be a fight where you fight the giant crab from Atlantis.
Ooh, that's something we didn't even touch on, the possibility of them doing a story mode, because they could definitely do it.
Yeah, but it's gonna be very bare bones.
Well,
Nah,
yeah,
just
but that's
really
what every
it'd be
2D fighter
comic
story
book
is.
type. It'd be like comic book type cutscenes, and then you go into the 2D fight, which would work perfectly since it is a comic
And
book
the only
based.
expressiveness is going to be in the intros and ultimates and outros, because that's how 2D
Yeah.
fighters work.
Though,
2D fighters are all about the flash of the fight. It's not like
no, I will
It's not
say
like
some
the main
people
thing.
have concern that it's just gonna be copy and paste in a lot of the characters.
That's what I'm hoping they don't do, because at least
Because a
to my
lot
kno-
of the characters in that show can
I
fly
wonder if
and
they're
basically
going to
do the
do
same thing.
like. I wonder if they're going to do like almost like upgrades or like Eve
Ooh.
unlocking her powers after like she gets a full bar or something, like in her ult or something. She actually does unlock her full powers.
But it looks of it that being fast is going to be definitely the name of this game, because what I saw through the gameplay, you can get the charging pretty quick during your combos. The combos are limited. It's not like crazy, but I definitely see some avenue where people can get a little creative with what they got.
And at least from my research into it, because I did look into like the creators talking about the game and how the movesets are made, this game is going to be deep cut the game. Like every move is going to be something we've seen in the show.
Okay. Well, I
Like,
figured.
Ult is going to be the headbutt, obviously, because that's his go-to finisher move.
One of
Conquest.
Angstrom. Conquest.
Angstrom? No, he's gonna be the teleporting motherfucker.
No, I'm saying like I was saying in the vein of his headbutt being his go-to move. He's finished off just about every villain with a headbutt.
Actually, you know what I just thought of? And I think this would be, at least in my personal opinion, this would be a cooler concept to have Angstrom Levy do, but maybe he would be the entity that you would put behind a separate, like, map-changing game mode, where he's not necessarily a fighter, but he's the conduit to change the form of a map.
I could see him being like the proprietor of this fight or whatever they're doing. Like he like summoned everybody to fight each other.
Yeah.
Oh, Mauler Twins ult has got to be summoning a million Maulers. Just all the Maulers.
Just get jumped by maulers.
No, it's obviously gonna be when they do the boomerang toss and they throw each other. I wonder if they're gonna work like Ice Climbers in Smash, where you could like.
No, I hope it's just one. I hope the way they do it is like going back to the Fighter Z comparisons, like how they did Zamasu and Goku Black, where the majority of the moveset is Goku Black, but then Zamasu will step in to do like an assist, like a grab or an additional attack to a move or some shit.
And all of their voice lines are just like, "I'm the original." No, I'm the original.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Oh my god.
No, but I hope that, like, because this is gonna fall into the same vein that all of these anime or IP fighters fall into. They're popular for 2 weeks, their DLC comes out, and then it's all dependent on the competitive scene because the story mode is always lackluster. So, like, I just want to see this turn into a open world, invincible game where you could just hop in and just be a hero and fly around and do shit. Like, I feel like this is just a placeholder game to get to the next step.
That could be the case, it could not. You know, doing a fighter for its first video game release for an IP is a little hit or miss. Definitely a little hit or miss. So only time will tell if this game will succeed or will it die before it even has a chance to really kick off.
Well, I guess the real determining factor is like the balancing of the roster, because like, again, a lot of these, like, especially with Fighter Z and to a lesser extent Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, like, they kind of fall into the same vein of like, okay, there's a tier list of characters, you gotta play the best characters to win the games, and if you don't play, and like this kind of extends to like 3D fighters like Sparking Zero and like to a lesser extent Bleach Rebirth of Souls. But I want them to treat
There
this
are still
like
certain characters in Bleach that are like considered top tier overpowered.
100%. That's gonna happen in every game. I just feel like, at least with my experience with Bleach, it feels more on reaction and tech based rather than just, oh, I hit the button with the OP character and I did the move.
Yeah.
But it's gonna really depend on how they treat the overall balance of the game, because a lot of the times with these tag-in fighters, it is, my opponent got me in a move and now I can't do anything for like 45 seconds while he does his whole combo. So I'm just really concerned that this game will come out,
I feel like
people will lab the shit out of it, and then it will just not be fun to play online, so it'll just be like a couch game.
I feel like gaming and gamers have advanced so much to where like even the younger generation is like, there needs to be like a counter in these fighters. There needs to be like a way to counter to kind of like
But I
shift
feel like
the
at this
fight
point
back
we've all
to
been
your
babied
side.
by counters.
Well, not even that, but like you were just saying, everybody's so skilled now that like if you mess up one hit, you're stuck in a 45 hit combo in these games. There's got to be a way to like stop and block and like redirect it back to you.
For that, I will like to reference another old fighter, Killer Instinct, because in that one, you can get out of that. It's just a matter of timing and judging which it's a low hit, mid hit, or a high hit, because that's what we called combo breakers.
Or do the smash thing and just give us a dash, like a dodge, like a wave dash or something like that.
No, I will say, though, I will add to the point, Killer Instinct's a great shout out because of their whole combo breaker system. That's what balanced the skill cap of the game.
But it also adds another skill cap because you can just be that same motherfucker just doing pure combo breakers and tell me.
Like me with Sparking.
Looking at you, Anu. You kicked my ass.
No, but I just want. I feel like with the depth of roster for this game, we could see a lot, like in terms of like content post-launch.
We'll just have to see when the moment's out, or we get more information about it. And hell, maybe they actually do something interesting with the story mode if they actually have one.
I feel like this should. Is this going to release around the time that the new season does?
I'm not sure.
That's what I was
feel like that would be a better time for it to release.
I was gonna say, Angel,
and they would have a fresh new wave of DLC they could add on. I guess it also depends on how far into the story they're going at the beginning.
That's what I wanted to get to, Subset. Like, just to touch on the spoilers of as a spoiler warning, we're going to be talking about the stuff that's happened in the most recent season right now, even though it's already been out for a while. But I just wanted to get your opinions about how they're going to treat the additional characters, like what happens in the Mark War, and beyond that, like with the multiverse shit. Like, is that are we gonna get a million versions of Mark, or is it gonna be skins, or like is this just gonna be story stuff?
I think it'd be. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Yes, you're adorable.
I mean, it could be skins, but it also leads on to what like a lot of people worry about is just going to be the same character, just reskin or just different looking. That's it.
I would love to see them do, if they did it with the story mode, I'd love to see it just be a Mark Gauntlet where you just have to fight every single version of your evil self over again.
That'll be funny.
I would like to see if it is a skin thing. I would like to see something like that where they do like an event, kind of like how Sparking Zero has some events going on,
where you can like earn skins as you progress through it.
Yeah. So the event would happen, and then each Mark you defeat, you would unlock their skin essentially.
But have they even put out a release date? I don't even think they have yet. Like, it's just later this year, right?
Yeah, later this year.
I'm gonna go on record and say I hate that concept. Oh, it'll be later this year. It's like, oh,
but
thanks.
The real question is, when is the next comic of Seance Dog coming out?
Oh my god.
What?
No, crickets, bro. Crickets. No one knows Seance Dog like we do, bro. Unless. But as much as I like to continue to talk about, there's not a lot about other than going to straight up hypothetical and own gamer theory right there. So other than the roster, the interesting points for a story mode, or hell, even future events that might come to the game, I'm excited to take a look at it when it does come out and give it a few licks against players, even against you two. But that's pretty much everything I got for this video game.
Now I'd like to end this week with another bit of animation news, and that is the fact that Rick and Morty's 8th season has hit its halfway point. Now, for those of you that don't know, back in season 7, due to some issues with Justin Roiland leaving the project, there was pretty much an overhaul with how they had to approach season 7, from redubbing episodes, maybe even recreating some episodes. So it is really refreshing that now on season 8, we are hitting the ground running with no interruptions, no diversions, no alterations to the schedule. And I just want to say these 5 episodes that I was able to see were really cool. I feel like we are at a turning point with Rick and Morty where we're finally getting a lot more quality. From episodes featuring Space Beth to episodes discussing the personal relationship between Summer, Morty, and Rick, and even a Jerry-based episode where he is crazy about Easter. And yeah, that episode was wild to watch, especially while I was at work. I did not expect things to go the way they did. Now, one of the other 2 episodes that I watched had Rick and Morty invading this sleeping ship. Essentially, it was like that Chris Pratt space movie where everybody was in hypersleep, and Rick and Morty just so happened to cause them to wake up and it was a great episode all in all, but the episode I really want to talk about is the third episode, which was a Citadel episode. And I always love when these types of episodes happen, as we get a lot of interesting perspectives on the other Rick and Mortys that are within the multiverse, not just our main cast Rick and Morty. Now, I don't want to give too much away, as I want everybody to go out of their way to watch these episodes, but from animation to character writing to progression of these characters, I feel like we are in a really good spot where Rick and Morty is back to the same level of not just quality, but also just effort and love. Because we really see some expressive stuff when it comes to these episodes. Whether it's really in-depth character moments, whether it's over-the-top action sequences, or really well-timed comedic bits. And just as a whole, this half batch at least, of episodes have been some of the greatest that I've seen in the past couple seasons. Now, we didn't get any evil Morty as of right now, and we didn't get any of the overarching lore that some people, including myself, love about the series, but this just felt like the classic episode-to-episode adventures. But honestly, it's kind of okay to have that sometimes. We don't always need lore. We got that in Season 7. It's good to have a little bit of a break on that. Now, the one thing I will mention as an addendum, when I previously talked about Rick and Morty, I had mentioned that the trailers were the entity that hosted the misleading information. I was wrong. It is the intro cinematics that host that level of will they, won't they appear in the episode clips. Now, aside from that, I'm really excited to see where the second half of Season 8 goes. Honestly, I really don't see a difference between the voice actors. I feel like they have pretty much adapted to their roles at this point. We now have Rick and Morty. Like, it's not a sense of there's going to be a getting used to it period. I feel like they're doing perfectly fine. But speaking of which, I think that's pretty much it when it comes to discussing Season 8 of Rick and Morty. The episodes are great, the story writing is great. I'm just glad that we are finally back to a place in Rick and Morty where we can just enjoy the show and we won't have to worry about any external drama affecting the aura surrounding it. Now, I will say as a side note, the post-credit scenes of Rick and Morty are honestly the best Chekhov's gun I've seen in TV or streaming in a long time. It's just always so fun to see those side characters you enjoy throughout the episode get that little bit extra at the end. And since I'm talking about another animated series, and because I'm dumb, I'd like to add that no, Bobby does not have a son that was G.H. or Good Hank, Cotton's other son and Bobby's younger uncle. But at this point, I'm off to watch the rest of the season as it comes out, but I think it's time for me to send it back to me and my friends to end this week's episode. That's been all that we have for this week. It's unfortunate that Blaze and Gemini were unable to join us, but they had lives, and as I've always said, life comes first.
Losers!
Yeah, losers! But, yeah, make sure to, like, comment, and subscribe, and check out our daily shorts that we are now posting. And be sure to check out all the lovely content that the CJSW station and website have to offer. I'd love to thank my two bros for joining me today. Thank you so much, Menace.
Oh yeah, always a good time.
And thank you, Subset. The Rap Boy returns.
I hate you.
I had to get it in. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, yo. By the way, I completely forgot what's your podcast name for half a second.
It's Menace.
That's why I just... you, Bobbert.
Oh, me
You.
too. I don't have one. I'm the guy that is associated with the station. I don't have one.
Okay, Rockin Rob.
You can't. No, you gotta do the intro again. You can't.
No, he was just saying it to say it.
Oh. Sorry. My bad.
Or I can just call you Rob Lobster. I don't know. Which one's funny?
Well, I honestly don't care which. I just want you to get through the intro. Run the intro again.
Hey,
Oh, shit. Sorry. I'm so embarrassed.